When it comes down to it, Martin, of course, they're the standout players, Messi and Mbappé. But it's that and a whole lot more, isn't it?
It is. Jimmy, it's where you start, really. I mean, we played, obviously England played very well. We've discussed that. But we managed to stop Mbappé to all intents and purposes. But we didn't stop Griezmann. So in a way, yes, it will be billed as a box office game between Mbappé and Messi. And so we should, because it's kind of it's the change of the guard, isn't it, in terms of who's the best footballer on the planet? And they're like a flash of light across the pitch. They're an inspiration to a new audience. The people who watch the game say, Mbappé is actually really as good, isn't he, as everybody billed him to be. I couldn't believe it. I don't really watch football. So anybody on the outside, but us in the game, know that Argentina only do what they do because of the plan around Messi. Jim, when they get the ball in their build-up, they're very clever. So they have De Paul and McAllister either side of a midfield. Fernandes, shall we say, sits, or Paredes if it's a 4. If it's probably going to be a 4. And what they do when Messi drops deep to receive the ball is the fullback on the right-hand side charges forward to occupy anybody that had any idea of following Messi. McAllister joins the front. They have plan of action and work around. They almost flog themselves for Messi. And he gives them the belief that they can be world champions. But I think the French are more arrogant. They play a 4-3-3. This is how we play. You need to worry about us. I don't really see them changing. But I think Mbappé will have to do a little bit more defensively. Because if we saw in the last game, they got a little bit undone a little bit by Morocco on that right-hand side. Hakimi down there and Ziyech were punishing France a little bit. So Mbappé will probably, the egos will be up and he'll be running back a little bit because it's Messi. But you can't take your eyes off of Griezmann as well, Jim. I believe he's the best team player in the tournament, and I think he's probably going to prove it at the weekend. The manager for Argentina has shown he can adapt and change systems. He played a 4-3-3 against Australia. He played a 5-3-2 against the Netherlands, which was the ultimate compliment to them because he realised tactically he might be struggle. And then he played a 4-4-2 against Croatia because they just love to pass the ball and he wanted to occupy midfield. So it's fascinating to see what he does next. He probably will play the 4-4-2 system yet again. But whatever system they play, Messi, everyone works for him, Jim.
Yeah.
And he's like, isn't he? His vision, the way that he runs with the ball, his dribbling. He's got a helicopter view of the pitch. It's like he's floating above the pitch and he sees passes. It's a no-look pass. He doesn't even see the player. He just instinctively knows he's there.
Have you ever been in a situation like that, Martin, that you've played with somebody who's the equivalent of Messi? Give it to him. Every chance he'll win it for us.
Well, I've played with Vieiras and Bergkamps and Henry's. They're the three top players that I've played with. They make things happen for you. They give you extra belief. And that's really what's actually booming through the hearts of all these Argentinian players. But I do believe the tried and trusted way to win this game will be France, because it'll be about them and how they play, and can Argentina stop them? That's really what we're looking at. I wonder what the odds were on a 1-1 draw and a 12-10 winning penalty shootout. It could go to the wire. I'd like to see lots of goals though, because I think it's a great advert then for our game.
You defended against the best. So who is tougher to defend against, Messi or Mbappé?
Mbappé. Because there's no substitute. The pace, I can't find the pace. I can find a way to win the ball.
At your peak, could you come anywhere near to living with him?
I don't think so. I'd have given it a go. It's just that when he plays on that right-hand side, Jim, and he knocks it in his stride pattern, so he's already going to win that race. It doesn't matter who he's against, but he's so electric. The thing is about Messi is we know what he's going to do. It's just we can't stop him. And he runs on top of the ball, Jim. And he's always moving the ball. If the ball's stationary whenever I played, I threw a tackle in. Because I never went with the shimmies and the body movements. It's the ball. If the ball moves, and he does move the ball, So it's fascinating. But the team is geared for Messi when he gets the ball. It's fantastic how they set up for him, and he's got the vision like a quarterback. Really,
I love what you're
trying to find.
I really like what you said about the French, and in particular Antoine Griezmann. And yet, an Argentinian who we all know, who won it in 1978 in their own patch, Ossie Ardiles, doesn't seem to rate the French that highly.
I have to say, Ray, I have not been that impressed with France. I believe that France... No, I think that France have a much better team 4 years ago. They can play, they can keep the ball. 4 years ago, they can play a different style, say. Now they're all defending and they're using the counter-attack far too much. Even Griezmann is becoming a kind of a defensive midfielder. So I think we will have the edge. As well, France against England, I would say that England was the better team as well.
Where's he going with that, Martin?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because to say that the French aren't as good as they were, you could argue that, but I mean, I see lots of similarities in the two teams. The only difference is that the French always set up in a certain way, but both teams were denied possession in their semi-finals. They averaged 38% possession, and they played both teams with a mid-block, so they weren't obsessed with possession. They were obsessed with being in position to win it back to counter-attack. So that's where the similarities are. I think Ossie's just being a bit clever because he just wants to take the pressure away from and build them up, his team that he wants to win. Of course, Argentina will be his team that he wants to win, and he doesn't feel the French are quite where they were. But I don't think we should be underestimating the French.
No. I'm with Martin on that. Sam, I remember Ardiles in 1978 played with number 2 in his back. It was everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
Absolutely.
Messi will be everywhere, no doubt, on Sunday.
I think Argentina have got significantly better as this tournament's gone on. I mean, that starts with the bleeding obvious of getting beaten by the Saudi Arabians, edging past the Mexicans in a very nervy, competitive game, being perfect for the Polish and the manner in which the Polish play. And then they've got past a plucky Australian side that you would have picked them to get past. I don't think this is a great Argentinian side, by the way. I think that there is an inherent belief building in them, and they've had some very compelling results as they've gotten to the final.
They're emerging, aren't they? So Fernandes is 21-year-old midfield player, is very good, and
so
also
they're coming to the boil
Alvarez
now.
as well.
I would have bet any money in the world that Martin would have said Mbappé was the one he wouldn't play against, because he's once he puts the burners on, most of the time he's gone. Kyle Walker kept with him most of the time and did very well in that game. But I think the French, there were times against England when French looked very smooth. Not often, because we did a very good job against the French and we were the better side for 40 minutes of it. But there were times when their movement of the ball and the quality that they had could be seen. They weren't as cohesive as French teams have been before. And that might be because some of the component parts that have been part of their successful teams in previous incarnations are not available to them. But I think the French, prima facie, are a better side than the Argentinians. And there are more match winners.
They've got players to come back as well. Yeah, Rabiot will come back into midfield.
There's more match winners in the French side. And the reason why it's billed as Mbappé against Messi is because they are the match winners, likely match winners.
Sure.
One guy's or another, whether it's an assist or a world-class goal, they're likely to be the match winners. But I think, as much as it probably galls me, because the French being whatever they are, I think the French will win this World Cup, and it will create a remarkable history for.
Why does it gall you?
Do you know what,
I'm
though?
not a huge fan
Simon,
of the
you say
French.
that. You say
I
that.
lived in France for a while.
Simon, is it going to be the
I'm not a
World Cup
huge
where the
admirer of
team that the not so good team wins this? Because I thought Brazil were quite magnificent. They went out, didn't they?
Did you think they were magnificent?
I thought Brazil were the flowing football that they played. I thought it was clicking for them. The goal that Neymar scores, I thought that was opening the door. And then they conceded
against
Morocco. They then conceded when they had 6 players in attack and they didn't have the right balance.
Well, right.
It seems that these two teams have a very good balance. Morocco, very good defensive team. You look at Croatia. Croatia only won 1 game in the whole tournament and gets to the semi-final. So, and it was looking like maybe they might win it. So now we're in the final. Is it going to be the most unlikely team that wins this World Cup? So then that takes it to Argentina. And then, Jim, it's a romantic finish, isn't it? For what's one of the best players that's ever played the game of football, Messi.
Will he be the best if he lifts it?
I think Diego Maradona is a better player. When I look back at what he did, Jim, and you look at Pele winning World Cups, I don't know, you can't really compare in the era. In the era he's been in, if he wins the World Cup, then yes, undoubtedly, he becomes, doesn't he, the best player.
Are you going
he goes
down
ahead
the
of
route
Ronaldo.
hoping, because we've got this ridiculous sentimental
Not
manifestation of desire for. I couldn't care less if Messi wins it. I don't think it's Messi's World Cup. I think whoever wins the World Cup deserves to win it. But there's a belief that people are willing Messi on in his own country.
I'm not really
Peron might be wishing him on, but I'm not.
I do look at quality in a player that's playing at an incredible level and admire that. But
I have to.
That doesn't mean I want him to necessarily win. If he does, then he takes my congratulations. But if the French win it, they'll deserve to win it.
Yeah.
Whoever wins this is one of the hard
win
ones.
it?
I think France will win it.
I go with France.
Me too.